This video is the continuation of the first video of this series, so to understand what I am revealing, it is very important that you watch the first video of this series, before this one. In my last video, I described how the nothing was able to look at itself by producing three separate conceptual locations, so while in the third location, it was able to observe the activity it created between the first two locations. The first concept of movement involved to and fro, where the two components were separated out of darkness. Shown in this animation, the next concept of movement was the discovery of rotation, produced by rotating of the first to and fro about one end, at its origin, forming a perimeter indicating the outer limits of the concept. This next animation shows the sequence of events that took place, from the nothing awakening and becoming self-aware, to the discovery of the first of the geometric forms, excluding the triangle, which was discovered in establishment of the third conceptual location, which then came the location of observation. You may find this interesting to note. When back-engineered, we find four letters forming a geometric-based algorithm, in Greek iota, nu, zeta, a rotation of the letter nu, and omicron. The iota represents the first concept of movement to and fro. The letter nu represents the to and fro, simultaneous in the two dimensions, and the second concept, rotation, represented by the rotation of the letter nu, to become the zeta. The omicron represents the manifestation of the first rotation, manifesting a conceptual disk in the form of a circular plane. These letters also make up the word Zion. This is not a Greek word, but this word is made up of Greek letters, also used in other written languages. Perhaps this is where the written word, Zion, came from originally. This is the base geometric algorithm, to and fro and rotation, or two similar, and one different, used in the processing system of life. As a square area has now been created, awareness or life, another title for awareness, modified its observation platform, and its observation location. This reduced the number of conceptual locations from 3 down to 2. This next animation shows how the next forms were produced. Line work was introduced between the ends of the lines forming the cross. This formed a square on edge, which was then rotated 45 degrees, and then lines were added between the corners of the two squares, forming a perfect octagon. Diagonal lines were added forming a three-dimensional illusion, appearing as a square tunnel or a mound, depending on the way you look at it. When the diagonals were between the inner and outer squares, it produced an illusion as though looking into a room. And when the inner square was reduced, this led to the concept of producing conceptual layering. In my next video of this series, I will show the structure involved in accessing the image or picture libraries.